It has been a wild month for Bitcoin as the cryptocurrency has soared after the unveiling of Facebook's Libra. Now, amid this volatile week with $1,000 price swings, the SEC has cleared the sale of the first ever digital coin offering from a blockchain startup called Blockstack. Let's bring in Spencer Bogart, a partner at Blockchain Capital. He joins us from San Francisco. Spencer, great to have you.
Thanks for having me.
I want to ask you about Blockstack. We were able to speak to the founder and CEO this morning on Squawk Box, and what was interesting was that he used Reg A Plus in order to do this digital coin offering. Do you think that this reopens the floodgates of capital for all these startups out there who might have been otherwise shut out because of the dry up in the ICO market?
Look, I certainly think it's a step in the right direction, right? I mean, after years of stonewalling the industry, we're finally seeing some movement from the SEC. Do I think it's going to open up floodgates right now? Probably not, at least not from these Reg A Plus approvals. I don't think there's a ton of investors that have been sitting on the sidelines waiting for a Reg A Plus approval. I mean, really, this is only a shade lighter than an IPO requirement, so it's still quite onerous on the company itself, but I'm very glad they're able to get it through.
So you think most companies won't want to go through that process because it is onerous?
It is, right? So, I mean, you reduce your reporting frequency, but I think most of the same content is still required. And we've seen that the impact of being public with companies staying private longer and moving to other jurisdictions. So particularly the latter within the crypto industry is companies moving overseas. And so I think we'll continue to see that.
There's a lot of talk about Libra, obviously, for everyone from the Winklevoss twins to Jerome Powell. I'm wondering, do you really think that Libra is going to make a difference in Bitcoin? I mean, is it really going to be the on-ramp because so many people have wallets, it'll make it that much easier to go ahead and buy other coins?
Absolutely. Libra is definitely a huge catalyst. I mean, not just in terms of its distribution, but also in terms of the partners that it's bringing into the ecosystem. I mean, we're talking not just about large technology companies like Facebook, and I would expect others to enter as well, but also financial companies. I mean, the likes of Visa, which also joined. And we recently just led a Series B round for a custody company that Visa made a significant commitment to as well. So a lot of the large financial players are increasingly serious about the industry.
Hey, Spencer, it's Dan. So back to Libra for a second. You talk about the partnerships that they're having. You know, there's been a lot of criticism about obviously Facebook's issues with privacy and dealing with user data. Will they actually have an outside role, or will they broaden this out and there will be a real consortium managing this thing? Because I suspect this is going to have a huge to-do whether this thing gets off the ground or not.
Yeah, look, I think skepticism is always healthy, but I think that Facebook truly has become a kind of minority partner of this in a much larger consortium that I think is going to continue to get larger over time. So look, I think it's good to be skeptical, but I do think they'll be able to launch it. Will it be exactly as described with exactly the same partners as announced? Remains to be seen, but I think the chances that they don't get something off the ground is extremely slim.
Where do you think Bitcoin goes from here? I feel like now that we've seen sort of a rally, all the bulls are coming out of the woodwork. They're saying, oh, we're going to reclaim past highs, et cetera. How about you? What's your opinion?
Oh, definitely. We're definitely going to see new all-time highs. I think that we'll probably see them over the next 12 to 18 months. And I think that, much larger targets are in sight here as well. I mean, look, when Bitcoin first made parity with the dollar, when it first hit $1, to say it was going to go to 10 was crazy. To say it was going to go to 1,000 was crazy. And I think today, when we're sitting here at 10,000, to say it's going to go to 100,000 isn't even crazy.
Right. I mean, but the volatility, Spencer, while it attracts people back into the space, investors and the like, I mean, that's the volatility that we've seen just in the past few months is probably one of the #1 reasons why the SEC will never approve a Bitcoin ETF. I mean, it's sort of a double-edged sword.
Well, I do think they will eventually approve a Bitcoin ETF, and I do think that'll be a significant catalyst. Granted, some of that is actually being roundabout with companies launching direct ability to kind of buy Bitcoin, whether it's through Robinhood or whether we're going to see some of the other major brokerage firms, I think, will make announcements over the next few months. So I think that a Bitcoin ETF would still be huge, but the impact is being somewhat mitigated by these alternative efforts. As far as volatility goes, look, yeah, Bitcoin's down some 10% over the past 48 hours, but it's up over 200% year to date. So, I mean, yes, it is a volatile asset. That is a byproduct of any asset that has absolute scarcity but fluctuating demand, particularly one like Bitcoin that is very early in its onboarding stage.
All right, Spencer, great to speak with you. Thank you. Spencer Bogart, Blockchain Capital.
Thanks so much.
San Francisco. Karen, you still have some
yes,
Bitcoin
I
out
do.
there, floating out there in the ether.
Yes, holding out. Last year terrible, this year great. It's interesting though. It seems to me it's more about the central bank issues around the world, right? And then you see events like Erdogan firing his, things like that,
Right.
to me, make the case for it. So, could all blow up again, but I'm staying long.